In example 1, you are required to redo the debtors control account and the debtors list, taking into account all of the information so that the two will be reconciled. The reason why we need to reconcile them is if you look at the information, the debtors control account's balance on the 1st of June is 16,996 Rand, and the debtors list's total is 15,036. So these two are not equal, and therefore a reconciliation process must take place. Now, the first thing I do when I do a reconciliation exercise, before I even look at the additional information given to me, is I go and draw a new debtors control account and a new debtors list. And then I transfer all of the information that was given to me on the previous debtors control account and the list to my debtors control account and the list. But I do it in a way so that I can edit the values. You would have noticed that I didn't write any values in the amount columns, here, here, or here. The reason why I've written all of my amounts in brackets next to the details in the debtors control account and in brackets next to the debtors names in the debtors list is because any of these amounts can be adjusted by the additional information. And then I want to be able to have space to do my adjustment. And then right at the end, after I've done all of the adjustments, I just close the brackets and take the final amounts to the amounts columns. You will see. Let's go and look at the first adjustment. It says, G. Smith's account was undercast by 1,000 Rand. Now what this means is that the balance of G. Smith in our debtors list has to be increased by 1,000 Rand. This won't affect the control account. So in the debtors list, next to G. Smith's name, you have to say plus 1,000. Then the next adjustment says an invoice sent to C. Black for 400 Rand has not been entered at all. In other words, this invoice is not in the DJ. And if the problem is with the recording of a transaction in the journal, it will affect the debtors control account and the debtors list. The reason why it will affect the control account is because this sales value that comes from the DJ doesn't have that 400 Rand in it. So we have to go and add that 400 Rand of this missing invoice to the sales value. And C. Black's balance that's in our current debtors list also needs to be increased by 400 Rand. The next adjustment says the debtors journal was undercast by 500 Rand. In other words, the total of the sales column from the DJ needs to be increased by 500 Rand. This won't affect the list because column totals are not posted to the list. Transactions are posted to the debtors ledger and then to the list individually as they take place. So an adding error in totaling a column will not affect the debtors list. Therefore, here, the sales value must be increased by another 500 Rand. Then, the next transaction or the next adjustment says an invoice for 700 Rand sent to A. Brown had been entered in the DJ but had not been posted to A. Brown's account. Okay, so the fact that it has been entered into the debtors journal means that it won't affect the debtors control account because it's already included in the sales value that was given to us originally. So we don't have to add it there. But where we have to go and add it is to the value that A. Brown owes us at the end of the month because we forgot to take it to A. Brown's account. And then lastly, the bookkeeper had forgotten to post the total of 760 Rand in the debtors allowances journal to the debtors control account. Okay, so you will notice in our debtors control account, there is no DAJ entry, and that's the mistake that was made. This adjustment will only affect the debtors control account because a column total won't go to the debtors list. Okay, so here on the credit side of debtors control, we write debtors allowances. It comes from the DAJ and the value is 760 Rand. In this case, I don't write it in brackets because it's the last adjustment and I know that this value won't change. Now that you've gone through all the adjustments, you can quickly finish off your debtors control account and your debtors list by doing this. And then after you've finished your debtors control accounts, well, you close it off and you total to your debtors list, you will see that you've done everything correctly because now suddenly the balance brought down on the 1st of June is equal to the total of the debtors list.